Former ANC President Thabo Mbeki is expected to give a keynote address at the memorial service of the late struggle stalwart Rita Ndzanga. Ndzanga passed on last week at the age of 88. She played a pivotal role in the 1956 Women's March. She's also served as the chairperson and treasurer of the ANC's Women's League in the Senaoane branch in Soweto. She was also awarded the Order of Luthuli by both presidents, President Mbeki and Jacob Zuma. We cross now to the memorial service.
Well, a very good afternoon to you, Nompu, and of course to our SABC viewers. We're just waiting there in anticipation for the start and for the beginning of this memorial service that is taking place here in Soweto. Of course, the hall is now getting full. We can see members of the ANC Women's League and of course other ANC members and guests and dignitaries are starting to trickle into this venue. As you've correctly cited, former ANC President Thabo Mbeki is expected to deliver his keynote address here. And just to remember the life and times of the late Rita Ndzanga, of course, some of you who don't know would actually know that she was actually very close to the late Winnie Mandela. They were incarcerated together. In fact, Nompu, our colleague Criselda Lewis, had actually spoken to her at the time of Mama Winnie's passing. She just recalled her time, the time of incarceration, that it wasn't an easy time. But I mean, these are, gallant women who actually fought for the liberation of this country. But joining me right now is a person who's no stranger to the media, and that is none other than Faith Mazibuko. Thank you so much for joining us on SABC News, Ms. Mazibuko. I can see a lot of ANC Women's League members coming out in their numbers. And of course, the late Alice Rita Ndzanga was also a member of the Women's League. How will you remember her?
She was a stalwart that suffered on behalf of all of us. In actual fact, she was arrested and spent time at number 4 prison. We used to call it number 4 by then. Today it is known as a museum. And if you go there, you will see her story, how she was able also to live side by side with the late Mama Winnie Mandela, and even the riots that they used to do inside there. If you get into that museum, you'll see a certain statue or a frame. They say, no, it's Mama Winnie's G-string. She's the one who told us it's a G-string, and we laughed about it. But what is so exciting is that she never gave up. She made sure she fights for the rights of women. And she believed that if she then joined the trade union movement, that is why we see many women have opportunities in the workspace. And she was part and parcel of championing that maternity leave should be a paid leave. It's some of these benefits that we see nowadays, and we don't know who champions some of these things. It's characters, activists like our mom Rita Ndzanga. Yes, she stayed in prison for some time. She was tortured. But what is exciting is that even in 1956, she may not be in the forefront of the march, but she's one of those foot soldiers who ensured that they mobilized women. Remember, majority of women were domestic workers. She targeted those women. And when they said, no, we can't come to the march because we have to take care of our nannies, we have to take care of the children. And she says, no, put that baby at the back and come to the march. So that's how exciting it is to have characters like our mom Rita. And she will not, she was the most quietest person, but very brilliant, very strategic. Most of us learned from her. Uguti Ras takes you nowhere. You must just work underground and make sure things happen. Our fight in the ANC of ensuring that there's 50-50 representation, it started with 30%. But she kept on encouraging us and said, no, liskawa moya. She used to speak in Tswana, liskawa moya. Who is who khapa taba ena and arberekeng ka thata lona basaling yang itlang. She passed the baton over to us. That's what is so exciting. She never remained with information and selfish about it. but she used to part information with us and make sure that some of the things that she is able to remember, she's able to share them with us. That's how we'll remember her forever, and let her spirit lives on amongst us.
You know, you share very important information saying that she was an organizer. She played a pivotal role in the 1956 Women's March. This is August. It still is Women's Month. And of course, you know, she played a pivotal role in championing the rights of women. Mama, I really need to ask you this as a member of the ANC Women's League, you know.
The chairperson of the Women's League.
Yes. As a chairperson of the Women's League in the province of Gauteng. You have a high-ranking official of the ANC who's got serious, claims alleged of sexual assault against a woman. That is the Minister of Finance, Enoch Godongwane. The ANC Women's League has called for the police to deal with this swiftly. You've also called for him to appear before the party's integrity committee. He has presented himself. What is your stance still on this issue? I mean, he faces serious challenges, allegations, and this comes in the light of Women's Month.
As the ANC Women's League in Gauteng, remember what national issues as a statement. It's what we have agreed in the meeting of the national task team. We are ex-official members in that meeting. It became a very hot matter that all of us debated upon, and we agreed that as the ANC Women's League were going to issue a statement. Minister Godongwane, he's also an NEC member of the ANC. That is why we saw it fit that it's the national that actually issues the statement. And we always call upon women, break the silence. The mere fact that this woman remained resolute, she reported, is what we are applauding her for doing. To keep quiet and say, no, this one who has victimized me is a person who's high profile. No, it doesn't work like that. It doesn't matter who has violated. As women, we need to stand up. We must break the silence. And as members of the Women's League, we are behind that woman. We're giving her all the support through our Mpumalanga comrades to make sure that justice is served. And no one should intimidate her and say, no, ungasai labo. It must be her own decisions. And of course, usually within the justice system, we say a person is innocent until proven otherwise. He will have to prove it through the processes that are there that he is innocent. But as women, we will forever remain supportive to that woman and say, carry on, we are with you, and call upon all other women. If you have ever been victimized by any high-profile person, do not die in silence. You must stand up and make sure you bring that person to book.
And should he be found guilty, perhaps? Should he step aside? You've got other political parties like the EFF calling for his resignation and his removal.
Obviously, once all those processes are done, I believe he'll be a comrade enough to then take the proper steps as per what we've been calling upon through the various policies that we have in the organization. We believe he will respect that decision and be able to abide with. Obviously, we are not also disregarding the plight of his wife. Remember, there's a partner in this relationship. Even her, she must not be found being antagonized. She must know that she has the support of women. Of course, she may decide what she wants to do, but she must not be victimized because she's involved with a person who is currently facing some challenges.
Let's talk about, lastly, the state of the Women's League. The Women's League is preparing to go to conference right now, a long overdue conference, might I say. Would Mam Rita be happy with the state of the Women's League?
Of course, she won't be happy. Remember, we also had challenges of COVID because the national conference was due in 2020. So those challenges, of course, we're not able to do most of the work. Even regions and provinces also are undergoing all that process of renewing and rebuilding the structures. But remember, even during COVID, Women's League had programs. We had prayer programs, we had programs of picketing, we had quite a lot of programs that we had in place. So we're not sitting and folding our arms, but we continue to champion the interest of women, the voice of women. You remember, even during COVID, quite a lot of women were actually abused. Our statistics were very high, and that's when Women's League stood up. We were able to marshal each other, mobilize each other. That's why you see these beeps that are called Sawubona Makelwane. They were meant to go door to door and identify those women and actually bring them to the victim empowerment centers that are available in all the police stations. But the importance of having functional branches is what is important. So as the Women's League, we can't say spelele when we don't have branches. The branch is the basic unit of the organization. You cannot have a region or a province without a branch. So the focus now is to rebuild these branches, take them to their branch general meetings, and ensure we've got executives that are able to continue with the work that we're doing as the ANC Women's League.
Mazibuko, thank you so much for your time. Thank you. Nompu and our views, that was Faith Mazibuko, the ANC Women's League chair here in Gauteng, the city of gold. And of course, just talking about the life and times of the late Rita Ndzanga and the contribution she actually played to the liberation of this country. Of course, she played a pivotal role. She was involved in that 1956 Women's March as an organizer at the tender age of 23 years old. Of course, she also played a very important role in the trade unions of the country. And very interestingly, you saw, I mean, just speaking to the caliber and the type of person that the late Rita Ndzanga was, she was afforded or awarded the Order of Luthuli twice by former President Thabo Mbeki and former President Jacob Zuma. And of course, former President Thabo Mbeki is expected to deliver his keynote address here in Soweto. With that said, it's back to you in studio.